Hello, my name is Andre, and this is episode 12 of Chronicles of Reality, which covers my experience and initial time having schizophrenia. To enter the next chapter of this journey, I am going to talk about the next addition to five-dimensional chess, or the next element that I had to deal with involving five-dimensional chess. So I found that of the areas in my apartment, my bedroom was the most active of rooms, but of locations, my bed itself was the most active of areas. I experienced multiple times that I would lay there trying to sleep, but but I'm being accosted by a number of different things. Especially and especially my entire body, but one example would be my feet. For example, right now I'm feeling a sensation of something pulling things at the bottom of my feet, which is sort of like a port area for frequencies to possibly enter, given the right method of use, but method of entry. So but right now, that isn't what's going to happen. In fact, someone is trying to cover the bottom of my foot. Now that I mention this, they follow your mind very very closely. So that's what I'm sort of experiencing as I'm talking. But but I do mention the feet because that was one of the main areas I messed with for the longest time, and so much that I wouldn't even take my shoes off when I got home. So I would only take my shoes off to shower, and that's it. And right afterwards, I'll tell you what, I put shoes on right away. you know, Shower, get ready as soon as possible, and put everything on. You first put on the underwear and the pants, and then socks, and then the shoes, and then and it's immediately. Um, so so yeah, so I would have some crazy nights where I would I would be affected by these entities on so many levels to the point where I can't even really move sometimes. So, and that's either whether they're either holding my body or messing with me in a way that is disabilitating my movement somehow. So that's what I have to deal with. And then I found that other entities that were not the voices and not astral and shadow people uh, were 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 uh, were around, which was a thing, and that was something that I had to really get used to, of them sort of interacting with my body and all taking turns trying to, if not attack me, then manipulate my body, which led into something else that I'll get into later down the line. For now, just this astral and shadow people. So I found that I remember the first time I well, so I remember that I can sense entities around me, and then from those locations, I'd feel a field, and then followed by actual interactions with my body. Over time, these these astral figures would show up. Now something would have to happen in this spot for that astral person or astral figure to appear. And they didn't always really look just like people, but they were people sized. And I can sense them around me. And at the time, I can see them. Now I can't see them, but I can sense them. But so yeah. For instance, there's the my foot is actually being messed with by one of them, which is to this side of me and to the side a bit. So, or to no off center. But yes, that's one of the things that would happen. So I noticed that things like this would happen with me, and I became hypersensitive to everything that was happening. You know, the 5 dimensional chess, all those hallucinations, all those factors, and the frequencies that came along with those, along with all the effects of those frequencies. And I learned that these particular uh, figures, we'll say, did not move on their own. I only ever saw astral people move on their own once, and that was during the time period where I got lost on Smith Street and ended up in another side of Smith Street that I didn't even know existed. So that was the only time that I saw a male and a female figure walking towards me. And when they stopped and asked each other if I was able to see them, they're like they looked at each other and they're like, "Well, can he see us?" And I think and no, I didn't answer. I just kept walking because I heard the voices near me, but the voices were like right around me, almost like people are walking on an astral plane interacting with me. And maybe that these areas, which I'm gonna call, well, these astral figures, could just almost be portals, or almost points of connection to to this plane of existence. If they weren't just in that form or if they were not just in some sort of form on this plane of existence, because I was able to feel them over my body at the time. So if I walked by one, I'd feel it, and I walked by another one, I'd feel it, and I'd still sort of be able to pass it if I needed to. But I definitely feel it to some sort of degree. And as time passed, I'd be able to feel them more and more. They became stronger and stronger as things went. Uh, so so things started to happen. So for instance, one of the things that might just randomly happen is that, like, right now, my pelvis is being moved and is being pulled. So throughout this video, you've seen me rock back and forth ever so gently. I'm not doing that at all whatsoever. So that's sort of thing. That's how much I can be moved or pulled by these individuals now. And I would say that the entity, while of a different breed that is affecting me, is weak when it comes to being able to move me. Uh, they can do it with a particular type of. It's not really a finesse, but they can do it in a way that is hard for me to catch at times. It just sort of feels natural, or whatever, and that's partly because I'm right now I'm playing 5 dimensional chess as we're talking. So so I'm back sort of to doing that to some degree, but I wouldn't completely call it 5 dimensional chess. We'll say five-dimensional chess because that still perfectly fits what I'm talking about. So I found that eventually these figures would be so strong that I can really feel them when I passed, and when they interacted with my body, they'd be able to move my clothing quite a bit to where my clothing was sort of like ripple like this, visibly ripple around in different areas. You see, so it'd be something that would be sort of very difficult to really just stop, but it was a signal if I just happened to not notice, which never was really the case, that something was interacting with my body, especially if there wasn't any wind. So yeah, that's sort of one of the things that I sort of experience. But even more so, the more real they were when I passed them, the more realistic they were when they actually reached out and interacted with my body. So that would mean that if it was pretty if I walked by an astral figure and it's so strong that it caused me to turn my body, then if whoever is connected to that figure starts interacting with my body, I could be in trouble if they're gonna be stronger before, even stronger than what I felt then. So it would feel like real hands on my body, or real objects, or real entities on my body at any point in time. So so yeah, and so it was just a struggle for me. It was almost like this sorry, how do I explain this? Okay, so it was like there is an anime named D and Angel, and it's an anime that involves a young schoolboy named Daisuke, and he is part of a family that throughout the generations there is this person that ends up sort of not really attaching, but being passed on from person to person. So he stays with one person for a while, and then at some point he's then passed on to the next generation. And that person, when they have this person called Dark, um, Dark, they have to go through a particular type of training to better control themselves when they're in Dark's form, or if they're out not fighting crime, but they did something else. I believe they were a thief or something like that. But yes, the point is that a regular day for Daisuke would be getting up and having to go through some sort of training session just to get out of the house to go to school. And then when he got home, it was the same thing. It was some sort of training session that he had to go through in order to get to the house, back to the kitchen or his room or anything like that. So my experience was a lot like that. Getting up felt like it was every day, felt like training. Every single day felt like it was training. And so I mean, just sleeping at night felt like it was training. Given everything that I've told you and will tell you from down the line, because there's still more that I have to say. But Lee getting up was quite a deal. because at that time there was an entity. Well, eventually there would be an entity that would follow me at other times in a different way. Well, no. Yeah, yes, yes. And we'll start that explanation with one entity, which I will explain in the next episode. But I believe I've covered astral people for right now. I will add before I end this that by the time this happened, I I I I was experiencing so much control over my body that that I couldn't really do anything or that much. There's only certain things I can do to maybe prevent something from moving their leg like my leg is doing right now, shaking by itself. I'm not even doing that. Something like that would be difficult for me to stop. So I had to really focus on in certain ways to keep that from happening, just to function and be around other people. Uh, yeah, yeah. And I found that when I interacted with different entities, that for a number of them, I found that I would sort of act and move differently. That's how different it was. One could be one like right now that randomly shakes their leg or touches your head for whatever reason. So the last time you saw me touch my head, not the one I just did, but before that, I didn't do that. That was the entire motion done by itself. You'll notice if you look back at a hand right here, I was moving this hand naturally, and while I did so, this one came up by itself and touched my head. And that things like that would happen that I would have to sort of go along with, or have to explain sometimes, or be ready to explain if I needed to, uh, until I was able to further to control what was going on with me. But yes, I believe I sort of covered everything. I'll go in greater depth in how I was further controlled, not just with the motions of my body, but with other things. But I will get into that at a later date. Thank you for watching my channel and these videos. If you followed me over this time period thus far, with my recap of everything that happened to me during this time period. Thank you for doing so. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comments or anything like that. I'm open to comments. Ask me whatever it is that you are uh, wanting to ask me, and I will answer those to the best of my ability. And if you do not get an answer, it is going to be likely that those and some that I do answer, I will cover in a later video and later videos. But until then, that's it. Till next time.